Welcome to Performance Driven Living, the podcast where we question everything. We don't tiptoe around tough topics, we walk right into them. Not to provoke, but to get closer to what's real. You might not agree with everything you hear, and that's okay. The show isn't about being right, it's about being real. These conversations are meant to stretch your thinking, challenge assumptions, and spark something deeper. The views shared are those of our guests and may not reflect those of the host or team. And while we dive deep into health, performance, and transformation, this is not medical advice. Talk to your doctor before making changes to your health or lifestyle. Take what lands, leave what doesn't. But whatever you do, don't stop questioning.
We are here at the Performance Driven Living Podcast, and we are doing our last podcast at the Dave Asprey Biohacking Expo here in Austin, Texas. I think we're in Austin now.
We are in Austin.
I almost said Dallas, Texas there for a minute.
There's a little Dallas in the room here, right?
We are from Dallas, in your defense.
Yeah, I think that's what was confusing me.
Yeah.
But I am joined here. I'm actually going to read this, guys, because I say that I'm going to introduce you, but my team always writes the best intros.
Okay, this is good.
This was actually.
Do you get the names right at least?
No, not normally. But it's like, so my team always writes these amazing intros, and I always say on the show, like, I would not give you the justice that they do. Now, this particular time I'm laughing because you were kind of like this last minute addition into the calendar. So I think there was a misfire, which is cracking me up. So they put the wrong names in, which is hilarious to me because I've known these guys for ages. But so I'm going to actually put your real names in here if that's okay. So I am joined today by Randy Johns and Rob Vasquez, collectively known as the Happy Healthy Guys. These guys have helped restore thousands of people's energy, help them lose weight and reverse chronic issues using a simple, natural, and empowering approach to health. Fair?
Oh,
Beautiful.
absolutely. Love it. Yeah,
I love
got
it.
The fact that they called you Dr. Derek W. and Dr. Gary.
Not even offended at all. I'm sure those are really nice gentlemen.
I need to know which one is Gary and which one is Derek, though. That's funny.
I feel
is
more like a
funny.
Derek. I think I'm going to go with Derek.
At least you would know from my last name and his last name which one was actually which if you didn't have those other names on there.
I don't know. I mean, Derek and Gary.
Oh, I'm saying he looks like a Vasquez, right?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't at all. But
Although
just
I'm probably
Derek
darker than
W.
him right now.
That may be true,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
But you kind of look like Derek Huff a little bit.
Okay.
So, like, maybe you are Derek. I'm not sure. But anyways,
Yeah. What's the movie?
I can see it.
What was the name? Derelict?
Derelict.
What was the one with Ben Stiller?
Zoolander.
Zoolander. Derelict.
You guys are far too fashionable to be making Zoolander jokes. I'm just saying. So these are the most fashionable male models in all of longevity. Guys, so excited to sit down and chat here with you.
No doubt,
because
man.
You guys do some incredible work, truthfully, and I know your heart's for what you do, which makes it more impressive. And one of the things that I will say this, and I mean this in all sincerity to anybody listening, there's a lot of people in the biohacking space, and I often will use this. And again, not that this show is about biohacking specifically, but health is a part of my focus, and obviously that's going to be a lot of where my contacts and where my friends are. So that makes up a lot of our show. The show is really about me learning things, and other people just get to watch and learn along. But one of the things that impresses me most about you guys is in a space, longevity, biohacking, so on and so forth, which tends to be a weird space. And I've often said that it has two categories of people. There's either the people that are so scientific that they lose everybody else, or they're so spiritual that they've lost themselves.
Wow, that's interesting.
And there's so few people who stand in the middle. And you guys stand in the middle. And it's like, you understand science, you're smart beyond anything, you completely understand, you're both doctors, you understand this kind of stuff and can have as many technical conversations in the medical field, but you're also people who have a spiritual bent, but not a spiritual bent that is so lost in mysticism, but a genuine faith in Jesus and
Yes.
your Christian faith. And it's like, and I think that people like that I admire, because I think in this space in particular, holding that ground is tough.
It is tough. And in fact, even it's interesting that you brought that up because we were being interviewed last night for a magazine downstairs, and they were asking us whether or not we felt like biohacking was a religion. And it was an interesting question because you could see where people have made it their religion, but I think that also, it also depends on what your definition of a religion even is.
I want to sidebar real quick and come back to that. Brian Johnson, okay, and I don't know Brian personally, so I'm not saying anything negative or whatever, but Brian Johnson made a comment recently. I don't know if you saw that, and he said his main competition is Jesus.
Wow.
And I was like,
I don't think y'all are in a competition.
I don't think that's a big competition.
Jesus, I don't think this is, you don't want to get in that fight.
I was like, your goal is to never die. He actually did it and came back.
Exactly.
Like, you better test your hypothesis a lot prior to going into that.
And you hear lightning starting to crackle. And,
well, but you mentioned, is biohacking a religion? And that was the first thing that came to my mind was this comment about my competition is Jesus. And I'm like, whoa, and there was so much scuttlebutt around that about, because I think that gives a bad name to the biohacking industry, to be honest with you.
I do.
Because I don't think it is about that. And I'll say my bent is I want to live the healthiest, most vibrant, energetic life I know how to. And I believe in biofields and I believe in vibrational effects. And all of that stuff is cool. And in fact, yesterday, I forget who I was talking to, but it's this conversation that all of these science people are saying stuff and all of these religious people are saying stuff. And I'm like, I've got science degrees and I've got theology degrees. And I'm standing in the middle of this conversation going, y'all are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, you're saying that this is all energy field. And I'm saying, yeah, did you know his name? and you're saying that this is all about high vibration. And I'm like,
hello. Right.
And you're saying that there's power in the words that people speak. And I'm like, in the beginning.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, guys, like, you're all saying the same thing. Like, you're here. And I'm like, we both need to get here.
Right.
Because that just makes a lot of sense. And finding people literally like brothers in arms who are like, yeah, we believe in all this science and longevity. But the reason why my focus, and I believe yours too, and comment on that afterwards, but like, my focus in wanting to live a long, vibrant, passionate life is, as Michael Fishman will always say, and I give him credit every time I quote it, and that is, the currency of success is impact. And the success I want to have in life is leaving this place a better place than I found it. And I can't do that crippled, and I can't do that obese, and I can't do that unhealthy because, to misquote Bobby Kennedy, a man has 100 dreams when he has no problems, but the minute he has one problem, he has only one dream.
Yeah.
That you guys are making people healthy again, one at a time.
Hey, we are. And I got really bad news for the biohacking community. We're all going to die.
True that.
So let's take that off the table, right? It's really right not to be colloquial, but are you going to live? And that's really should be the focus, and where I think Rob and I and yourself fit into this space is, listen, we're dying longer, we're living shorter. Nobody even knows what health is. And there's no foundation knowing that you're not broken. You're not genetically programmed to be sick, that God did make you to be healthy. I mean, 1 John 4:4 says, greater is he that is in you than he that's in the world. And it's not even a religious statement because we already know it's an immutable law that our body heals itself. That is the foundation, is really the key principle that everybody has to know. Because if you don't know that, you don't know how to ask the right questions, how to get the right answers and get the right solutions.
110%. And one of the journeys that I've been on lately, and I'll tell you guys, we haven't really caught up on this, but somebody asked me recently, like, I'm doing a podcast, Performance Driven Living, all about me learning new things and talking to experts, and like, because I just have this insatiable curiosity to know things I don't already know. And I'll say, like, somebody asked, like, well, what are you learning? And I'm like, honestly, like, I think I'm doing more unlearning right now than I am learning.
Oh, I'm on that same journey.
Yeah.
Dude, I love what you just said. I'm on that exact same journey.
Yeah, like I think I'm unlearning things faster than I'm learning them.
How quickly can you do it will be the greatest skill set you'll ever possess, right?
My word, yes.
How quickly can you unlearn everything that you thought you believed?
Because there's so much, and especially having conversations in quantum spaces and all this other kind of stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, that is possible. I need to stop discarding that. And I need to stop discarding that. And I need to stop ruling that out. And I don't need to cling so tightly to this. And how much do we that we think we know that we really don't. And those, I think, are the beliefs we hold most closely, right? Because we know they're indefensible.
Yeah. So they're beliefs, right? You can't falsify them.
But we build weird barriers around them.
Yeah.
And those weird barriers are the harder ones to take down. And I'm like, so that's the stuff that I'm trying to hold less loosely to, or more loosely to, less tightly to.
Yeah.
In a way that it's like, what can I unlearn that makes me do this? And so much of that, truthfully, is around this whole concept of, in the biohacking space, science has gotten us so far. And every single time somebody says something, I'm like, yeah, back here, this existed, and now we just discovered it. Like,
nothing.
Wait a minute. Like, I'm having this conversation with Philip von Holtzendorf-Fehling. You know Philip, of course, leading quantum.
Absolutely.
And he and I are having this,
incredible technology. And
amazing guy, great technology. I got my Lila quantum.
I know, man. I don't, but I've got this pearls. But there's frequencies in here. I just believe it.
But I'm having this conversation with Philip, and this whole conversation I had with him like a while back was all about biofields and how the energy that we emit in the world is the same energy that we receive, because like attracts like, and so on and so forth. And I'm like Philip, like I can't disagree with that. I'm like, we're all energy, and we do emit energy, and we literally can measure vibrational patterns. And I'll get there in a minute, because I'd love to get your thoughts on something. But we're going through this, and then as I'm unpacking this later, I'm talking to somebody else this week, and I'm like, so wait a minute, the energy, literal, physical, measurable energy that I'm emitting on a regular basis, whether through positivity, whether through negativity, whether through speaking negatively over my life, like so on and so forth, I'm like, is exactly what I attract. I'm like, so let me get this straight. I'm like, so do unto others as you would have them do unto you is actually a science lesson today. Is that accurate? And the person that I was talking to at the time was just like, actually, yes. Because from a quantum energetic standpoint, if I'm kind to you, you're kind back. Like, that's scientific. Like, if I'm angry to you, you get angry back. Like, we're proving that through energy fields. And I'm like, so maybe this wasn't just do nice things and nice things will happen. Like, maybe that literally was a science lesson from God going, guys, like, I've figured this out a long time ago. Like, does that make sense? Like, is that too weird woo? Like, am I trying to oversimplify the world?
Not oversimplifing at all.
That sounds a lot more simple to me, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really what it's all about too, is even just here's what we got to get people to understand as well, is how to really ask better questions so that they can be able to be healthier, but really take a look in the mirror at themselves and say, hey, you know what? I'm the person who's responsible for my own health. I can take agency for my health and do exactly what you were saying, in that unlearning or letting go or surrender, and stop trying to control it with all of these different gadgets that are all over the place that we just saw this last weekend, because you're trying to control it rather than just let go. And I mean, we've all heard the saying, and not to be cheesy about it, but let go and let God. Well, God did give us the sun. He did give us the earth. Take your shoes off and go walk around on the ground. Go ground that way. Go do some sun gazing. You can meditate in nature. We don't need to somehow fabricate all of these different things that God's already given us. It's right there. So if we can be able to, again, look in the mirror, take agency for our own health and not depend on those things to make us healthy, depend on the inner wisdom that God's already given us that's on the inside. How cool is that? We already have it, and so just let go and allow that power to be able to heal us. I think we would be so much better off.
And if I can add, quit doing the damage.
Yes.
We're talking about always needing healing. I'm like, there's a way to not need the healing as much.
Well, think about that. No, that's a great point. Listen, this is a huge thing for me. It's like, we don't need more healing. When God made us in his image, fearfully and wonderfully made, he didn't leave anything out. The prayer isn't God heal me. The prayer is God give me the wisdom to show me where I'm interfering and getting in the way of the healing process. That's a completely different conversation, because praying for healing means, on some level, maybe I'm a victim to whatever you want to throw out there, my genes, my age, I don't know, some microscopic germ that nobody can see that's invading and hijacking my cellular DNA and making me sick. I don't know, maybe it's a garbage poker hand. All of those victim statements that we own and we take or we don't take responsibility for, maybe it isn't any more simple than going, wait a second. I don't need to be praying for more healing. God, show me. How do I begin to take better care of the vessel that you gave me, right? One of the best ways to worship God, if we're going to talk about a religion, is honor God with your body. And he does give us all the things that we need. So I think the journey towards finding more healing may be a journey headed in the wrong direction because we really don't know what health is, going back to what I talked about earlier, that wait a second, health and disease are the exact same thing. The body doing the right thing under the circumstances. What is the role that you're playing in your circumstances? That's a painful conversation sometimes because it's easier to outsource and turn it over and blame something else when maybe we're the problem.
Just in full disclaimer, y'all are going to church here in a minute. So
oh man, well I know I can have this conversation.
Press pause or turn it off. That's all this goes. So right. This absolutely kills me because yes, I absolutely love that. And I agree with you because that's one of the best things that we can do for our own health is get out of the way. Like, just get out of the way. Like, your body was made to live.
What do we say as chiropractors, right? The body does not need help any healing. It needs no interference.
Correct.
I've said that a billion times at this point in my life.
Let it do what it knows how to do.
You got it.
Get out of the way. And somebody, I forget who it was, I was talking to somebody. I want to say, you guys know Sandy Martin?
Sandy Martin?
Sandy,
I don't know.
She runs the Biohacking Expo down in Miami. Like she's a lover to death. And
yeah.
We were talking about something and she was talking about how her cousin, she's a good friend, and her cousin had called her and was just like, I'm taking this supplement. Tell me what your thought is on it, so on and so forth. And she's got a big mouth like the rest of us, right? And he's just like, I'm talking about this. Like, what do you think? And she looked and she went, look, I'm just going to be real honest with you. You literally drive through McDonald's every day, and I know that. Mm-hmm. Please put the supplement away.
Yes.
Like there is no reason
that's strong.
For you to be worried about which supplement you need until you put the Big Mac down. Don't call me about supplements because I'm not going to tell you that a supplement is effective because you're counteracting anything it does, and I'm not going to look like I gave bad advice. And I was like, wow.
That's good.
All right. Like that's you're good. Not wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like quit doing the damage.
Yeah. And if you know, stop doing that too. And don't be afraid to take charge of your own health as well. And I think fear also stops a lot of people. For example, we were at lunch earlier when we ordered, they asked, do you have any allergies? Any food allergies? Seed oil. Of course. 100%. So we say seed oil. So he comes back and he goes, okay, everything, we don't cook with any seed oil. He goes, however, these dishes right here, they do have a combination of olive oil and vegetable oil. We're like, vegetable oil? That is seed oil. No seed oil. Yeah. So then he comes back, and I think there were two things on the entire menu that we could be able to have, but it just makes you think that how many people have been there and just took their word for it, and we're like...
Or didn't even ask.
Or didn't even ask the question. Yeah. And we're like, well, okay. So even after he was finished waiting on us, he's like, you know what? I just wanted to say thank you. I learned so much from you guys today. I would serve and wait on you any time. So how many people do that?
This team's heard this conversation this week already.
Okay.
I went to dinner. We went to Ocean Prime. Yeah. Big restaurant all over the place. A new one just opened in Fort Lauderdale. And I went to dinner with David Allred. If you know David from Dry Farm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So David and I are at dinner, and server comes by and I'm like, well, this salad sounds really good. And I'm like, but can I ask you, it's some fancy name in the dressing that's like, the House Paradise dressing or something. I'm like, can you find out what's in that before you bring me
and
this?
And it's seed oil.
I'm suspecting, but sometimes it's some fancy vinaigrette thing. I'm like, can I just ask firsthand? Not a problem.
Okay.
And I went, well, the reason is I have an allergy to seed oils, and I just want to make sure that none of that
Everybody does.
Everybody. Yeah, exactly. Everybody does. I'm just saying
everybody does.
And he's just like, oh, we don't make anything here with seed oil. And I went, really? Like, I didn't know that. Actually, I thought that would have been a bigger part of your marketing. Like, there's a restaurant that just opened down the street that literally promotes no seed oils in the restaurant. I'm like, that's amazing. I didn't know that about Ocean Prime. Oh, yes, but I'll confirm with the chef for you.
Yep.
Great. A little bit later, our salads come out. And I'm like, comes by and I'm like, hey, bud, I got a question for you. I'm like, my salad came and I'm like, it looks amazing.
Dressing.
And I'm like, can you do me a favor? Like, I checked with the chef for you. And I'm like, oh, okay. Did you? And he's just like, yes. Again, no seed oils. This dressing is actually made with canola oil. And,
There you go.
same story.
Yes. Organic canola oil.
And I went, canola oil? And he's like, yes, canola oil is not a seed oil. Canola oil is made out of corn.
Oh, wow.
And I looked at him, I went, okay, but like.
He said it to the wrong person.
I just want to help you. I'm like, canola oil is literally made from rapeseed.
Exactly.
Just doesn't sound as
Literally. Like, we can Google this for you if you'd
You
like.
heard of erucic acid? It's a
but-
heart toxin.
Nobody buys rapeseed oil, so they call it canola. It markets better.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I went, yeah, like, I don't want this. Like, thank you, but I'm not going to eat it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and that's why I asked you to check before you went and made the salad, right? So
Right.
that, in fact, they did end up replacing the salad and brought me like olive oil with vinegar.
Yeah.
I pretended that they don't cut most olive oils with
Right.
some other kind of oil to make it cheaper, but
Your thoughts are more powerful than reality. So
also true. And I was like, there's no end there. But the point of the same story. And it's like, because people just don't know.
Yeah.
Like, and these are servers at nice restaurants.
yeah,
Right? And they
Ocean
just,
Prime is a very nice place.
absolutely. They don't know the answers, and they mean well. They don't know. They're just like another BS question from a crazy customer, right? And I said to him, I'm like, I don't mean to sound awful with this. I'm like, now, fortunately, I'm like, I really don't have an allergic reaction to seed oil, but I choose to keep it out of my body because it's very unhealthy.
Right.
And I'm like, but God forbid I actually had a real allergy to something.
gosh, right.
And you handed me an answer like that. Like, that wouldn't be cool. But I want to, like, so yes. So I totally get your story, and I was kind of chuckling while you were telling it because I'm like, same thing 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys, because you deal specifically with helping people detox, particularly from seed oils, funny enough, like your business is literally helping people seed oil detox and actually get into this. And people realize that as soon as they do, they end up losing weight tremendously and so on, because their body's not experiencing this crazy inflammatory response. But I want to go one place first.
Okay.
And that is, you've made a lot of comments about image of God and so on and so forth. And a topic that has been coming up in my life a lot has been the power of words and the power of the words we speak over ourselves and our own lives. And this kind of stuff just keeps becoming a big thing. And it's literally become such a big part of my life that I am choosing what I say so frequently now that I'm like, I don't know, like even like, somebody's just like, you say something that's really funny and they're like, I'm dying. I'm like, nope, I'm not saying that.
Don't say it.
I'm like, I'm not going to say those words because, and I had this conversation with Luke Story. You guys know Luke, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so I'm having this conversation with Luke, and he's like, oh, wow, I never really thought about that way. And blah, blah, and we're chatting. I'm like, Luke, let me give you an example. If I were like, Duck, I'm like, what just happened? And I'm like, because now granted, you feel safe in my company, so you don't actually believe that I'm screaming duck at you.
Right,
I'm like,
I didn't move.
But right, I'm like, but under normal circumstances, what would happen if somebody yelled duck? And I'm like, your pupils are going to dilate, your sympathetic nervous system is going to get triggered, your digestive system is going to shut down, you're going to experience vasodilation, you're going to be and I went through like this list of things that are physiologically going to happen. I'm like, that's the power of one word from me. Like, what does your biology do with all of the statements that you make every day, all day? And recently there was this weird switch that flipped in my mind. And what I keep referring to lately is the I am statements. Okay. And I am are some pretty powerful words if we want to take this to a theological sense.
They would say that they're the most powerful words when Moses is asking, who are you? I am.
Tell them
that I am.
Who can I say sent me?
I am.
I am.
Yeah.
And it's like probably the two most powerful words when we translate them into English. But what do those words mean when we say things like, I am diabetic, I am fat,
Dude, this is big.
I am abused, I am a victim.
I have cancer.
Yes. Like,
Yes.
these words, like, we're literally declaring things over ourselves. And I have to believe that, and again, I'm not trying to talk, the Stuart Smalley, affirmations. But the reality is that these types of declarations have biological impacts on us. You guys see this every day. Like when you're dealing with people who are coming in to talk about weight loss or talking about health thing, how do you see this?
Are you kidding me? I mean, like this is like the number one thing. You have to almost get them out of autopilot and wake them up to even realize it. There's things I've been focused on. There's 3 things I've been focused on around this topic, and I love this topic. What are the words that you're saying to other people? Okay, what are other people saying to you? And then what are you saying to yourself? Right, those things. So when I received I received a cancer diagnosis, and I was in my pity party for several weeks, talking about this, saying that word, thinking about it. But very quickly I realized that I was gonna have to completely change the story I was telling myself. And so that's one of the reasons I even left the country, got away from people. I really protected my thoughts, right? Took captive of those words, those thoughts, to make sure that I was not speaking this into my life or allowing anybody else to speak it into me. So to your point, with the people that we end up working with who come to us wanting metabolic help, you better believe it, because a lot of times you're talking about people who have struggled with their health, their weight, their self-image, and they've been telling themselves things for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years, not only what they've been saying, what people have been telling them, and it's become who they are. Wow. Right. That right there, it's hard to get well if that has been the story that you've believed about your life. Like, that's not who, it's maybe where you are, it is not who you are.
Yes.
Yes.
And I will say even deeper than that one step, and that is who we believe we are changes our actions, obviously, because if I believe I'm in prison, I act like I'm in prison, right? Like we're all familiar with the prison studies that were done psychologically. Like the inmates actually behaved like inmates, and everybody's college students in the same class, right? Like, but the reality is that even beyond that, I would say, how do at a cellular level, if I tell myself I'm diabetic all the time, do our cells just start behaving like diabetic cells? Like we speak this stuff into existence, as opposed to, and I'll say, like, you both probably know Vishen Lakhiani, I'm sure, right? Rhine Valley. Yeah. And, talking with Vishen and doing all this stuff or whatever. So it's like, I decided I was going to get into like Silva meditation. Now, coming from a Christian upbringing, I was always taught that meditation was bad.
Of course.
But I've unlearned this. Yeah. And part of that unlearning process is like, okay, so meditation, what is this? And it literally came from a moment that I'm like, what do I think the strongest thing about me is? Because rather than focusing on my weaknesses, I need to double down on my strengths, which is a professional goal that I've always had. Don't do the things you're bad at. Hire somebody to do that and go do the things you're great at. Yeah. And I'm like, I have a really strong brain. Like I love my mind. Like I'm smart and I'm willing to speak that over myself. True or otherwise, but I'm willing to speak that over myself. Like, I got a great brain. Like, what if I could harness just a percentage more of that power? Mm-hmm. And I mean, literally started doing Silva training. And I'm like, and I remember being on an airplane one day and being like, I'm sick to my stomach that day. And I was like, man, I am just sick to my stomach. And I'm on an airplane. Like, there's nothing I'm doing about this at this point, right? And I was like, oh no. Like, what if I were to just start having a conversation with the cells in my body? And just playing the general of my own army here. Mm-hmm. And it's like, literally like did my Silva, 3, 2, 1, like a kind of meditation thing. And got myself into my little Silva state and whatever. And was just like, all right, guys, this is what we need to do. Like, I need all immune response to currently right now be focused on whatever's going on in my gut, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and like a total freak show in my head at the time. And I'm just like, no, this is what I need. I like any functions in the body that are non-essential. I need you to direct all of your bandwidth to supporting this particular system, and literally just like started giving marching orders. Yeah. That sickness went away in 0 minutes. And I was like, what just happened? Yeah. It was the weird, and I was like, do we really have the power to control ourselves in that way? Taking captive every thought, as you just said, like, and that sort of stuff. Like, I want you to dig into this conversation about seed oils and all this other kind of stuff. But like, I think that's incidental to so much of this other big stuff. And not to do all the talking, but like, I just watched a podcast release that came out the other day. I was on a podcast with J.M. Ryerson. You probably haven't heard of him, but a lot of similar stuff. And And he's like, what biohack would you recommend to anybody starting today? And it's like, I didn't remember, the podcast was recorded whatever ago. And I'm like watching this reel, and my response, I was like, that's right, you get it. My response was, quit the negative thinking. Because it doesn't matter what biohack you're doing, and it doesn't matter what you're eating, and it doesn't matter all of this. If you are filled with brain toxicity, none of that changes. Like you're just going to keep speaking death.
Yeah, and even like you said just a few minutes ago, and lately one of the things that I keep on saying back over and over, even to myself, is in Ephesians, where it says, "And to Him, it's into Him who will give you immeasurably more than you could ever think or imagine, whose power is within you." Mm-hmm. So if that same power is within me, then I do have that power to be able to heal from anything. Jesus could be able to come up from the dead, right?
Christ from the dead.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, but even like you said, I was sick to my stomach. So a lot of us have been taught growing up that you're sick, right? So saying, I am sick. So you're now teaching your body that you're sick. One of the things, as my kids were growing up, they were never allowed, and I never allowed them to say, I'm sick. What I would always say is, they would go, I'm not feeling well. And I go, okay, you're not feeling well because your body is expressing health. Mm-hmm. That is an expression of health. So changing that, I've never once ever heard them say, even one time, I am sick. Mm-hmm. They'll say, Dad, I really don't like when I'm expressing health, right? They're throwing up, they've got it coming out one end or the other end, but that's how powerful that is. And so then going, okay, if my body's expressing health, what can I do to be able to help my body better express health? That could be getting into that meditative state, checking in with yourself, going, okay, spirit, what do you need? Physical body, what do you need? This, you can just start checking with those different parts, and then they'll let you know, hey, here's what it is that I need right now. I need you to shut your stinking thinking up right now is what I need you to do, and start believing in the fact that, yeah, God did put a power in your body to heal. Now you need to surrender and let go of that, right? Because I really truly believe that there are things and energies that we hold on to. And we all know that we are energy, right? There were even times when over the course of this weekend, and I would tell him, I'd be like, you're standing around somebody, for example, and there's a lot of people in this building that I'm like, you know what? I need to go outside for a minute to be away from that energy right there, because it's not mixing well with mine. Yeah. And so you got to get clear with that, but think about how that is just on a daily basis. And so, yes, words are, and that's, you look at spelling, right? Words are spells. And we're casting good spells on ourselves on a daily basis, casting bad ones. They say the thoughts that we have every single day repeat themselves. We have about 80,000 different thoughts that are going through our heads every single day. And what they're saying is that about 80% of those are negative.
Yeah.
Right? So if that's the case,
and
right,
we're not getting
there,
the positive ones through the media.
And we're not getting positive ones through the media. So we really need to start speaking life. And that begins with speaking life into ourselves.
Yeah.
I 100% believe that.
Dude, I love that. So let me go here with this and let me hear what y'all think. So, well, I'm just,
we're just spitballing.
I'm having a good time. I've got a couple of savants here, man. I want to learn right now. But I'm thinking so even when your story being on the plane, or I remember thinking when I got this cancer diagnosis, or let's say you stump your toe and and you kick the door at 3 a.m. in the morning and you scream out this nasty cuss word and you're in pain. But what if we knew that in that moment that whatever our body is doing is a therapeutic healing response? And the reason I'm saying that is if you don't believe that, then what you're going to dip into, and this is where my head goes, is you're going to go deep into fear because you don't have control over the situation and you think that it's a bad situation. What if it wasn't? What if what your body is doing is exactly what it needed to be doing in this moment, in the environment and the circumstances that you have created? Well, that takes away all the fear, because your body is hardwired to heal and it would never do anything to hurt you and it's always trying to heal you. So I think if you can come from that place as well, whatever you're going through, you can remove the fear component away from it. And I think that may be the underlying cause connected to the thought, because really the fear thoughts are the ones that are making us sick. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree with that. I genuinely believe that what I speak is what I live.
Yeah.
Like the words I speak is exactly like you're speaking your own existence. Like, and again, we'll go back to a biblical text and say, in the beginning, God spoke. Yeah. And, and I mean, John 1, like literally goes into the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh, like literally everything about it, everything started with the Word. And I don't believe that, especially if we want to talk about from a biblical perspective, like if we're made in the image of God, then our words have power too.
Yeah. Amen to that.
And the truth of the matter is like, just as his words spoke things into existence and his words were able to create or destroy life, I think our words have that same type of power. And I think there's a metaphysical reaction to a lot of that. That's a different conversation when we get into like quantum energies and whatnot. But even from a psychological standpoint, though, Henry Ford, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't.
You're right.
Absolutely right.
Exactly. It's so simple, but so brilliant.
Just so out there.
And he didn't understand quantum physics, and that's okay.
Maybe no. But the truth is like he just absolutely understood that, your belief system was going to be what defines you. And Rob was just talking a second ago about, Derek was
he said derelict. Derelict. Yeah.
Was just talking a second ago and made the comment about, what is it? I just lost I called you Derek and then lost my train of thought.
He said a lot.
He did say a lot. Yeah. No, there was something very specific that you said about, shoot, I don't remember what I was talking about right there. I lost my thought. I shouldn't have distracted myself. I thought that was so easy. But we were talking about the power of words and
being spells.
Spells before that.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway,
talking about I'm not sick. I'm expressing health.
Yeah,
the symptoms of healing.
Everything about our health and everything about our words, like we're speaking it, and our belief system defines it, and the psychological part of that we define existence because he was talking about energy and being away from people who had negative energy and just needed to step away for a moment. It's like I think the more sensitive you get to that, it's that what you give is what you receive kind of thing, and it's like. When you're around people with that type of negative energy, it never ends, right? Like I've got a relative of mine who I found myself being more bold in conversations because, I'll give a phone call and we'll talk and talk and talk. And some days we're 15 minutes in and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I love her to death, but I'm like, stop. And I will say, tell you what, why don't you tell me something good right now? I don't care. Maybe you're having a good hair day. Tell me something about what's going on, but I need to hear something positive from you right now.
Yeah.
Because you are continuing to create your own existence. And I don't want you to create mine with that. Like we're drawing a line. You're not welcome past here until that shifts. And I told you guys, like I was talking with JJ Virgin yesterday on the show, and she was telling me all about when her son was in the accident.
Yeah, we remember. And very clearly,
she just kept going into, the doctor, that's, and her other son, Bryce, was just like, wait, I just calculated that's a 0.0125% chance then. And JJ went, that's not a 0. And I'm like, man, do I love that.
Yeah.
And it was just the mindset. And she's like, and if a nurse came to walk into the room and looked like she was in a bad mood, out.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want negative energy in this room right now. And she goes, and it wasn't because I believed that our negative energy was going to cause a problem or that it was a care issue. She goes, because even when a doctor was working on him, she goes, I would always ask the doctor, do you believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that what you're going to do is going to be effective?
Yeah.
And if the doctor couldn't answer yes, I want a different doctor.
Absolutely. Yeah.
She said, because you are not going in to perform a procedure with doubt. Because if you doubt, your performance is going to go in with doubt as an option.
Yeah.
Doubt's not an option. My belief is that my son will be restored to 110% of what he was prior to this happened. And if we don't agree, hallway.
Yeah. Wow.
And I was like, that was about as mama bear as you can imagine, right?
Oh my gosh, right?
Because I'm like,
you don't want JJ Mama Bear on you either.
No, yeah.
Not with those arms.
Yeah, exactly.
But it makes me think like, do we approach everything in life that way? Like if you don't believe that this is gone, done, hallway, like if you're not in 100% alignment, fix that. And I think we move forward with this limp all the time, and then the limp becomes part of our identity.
I agree, and I think I think it's part of being a human to have some doubt. Of
course.
You know what I mean? So even just having this conversation, I'm like, yeah, you're right. I need to be way better about this. But what I'm also thinking right now is even looking at you two, for example, is you guys both have stories of being able to overcome a lot of challenges. And I really feel like God uses us in these stories for other people to be able to see, to go, you know what, that little bit of doubt that I had, if they can be able to overcome that, then I can too. So we get to be able to be these walking role models and examples for other people. And I really feel like even with you doing this podcast, that's helping those people that were like, you know what, I didn't think that I could ever do that. I didn't think I could ever even, do a podcast,
You guys
for
do
example.
the same thing.
You know?
Like literally both of you walk around, and Rob, I know your story about being overweight and then losing all of that weight and now being a picture of health for people. Like, you're a billboard for your own business. Like, you know that, and you've always been skinny. I hate you.
I was almost dead of cancer. I mean, can I at least play the cancer card?
but
I mean,
still,
come
but you
on.
never been overweight.
Rob and I was fat. But you just had cancer.
Yeah, you get more sympathy than your overweight kid.
You try wearing husky jeans as a kid.
Kids get going.
Gosh, but you all need to leave right now. Yeah, I mean, I'll be.
But the reality is like you're living an aspirational life. Like, that's really what it boils down to. Like, you both live a life that I think people want. And I know we've had conversations about this in the past, right? You call yourselves the happy, healthy guys, because just literally that phrase itself speaks into existence the reality that you want to be true and is. And I think what ends up happening is people are attracted to that, and they're like, the happy, healthy guys, like, who's like, oh, I don't want to be around that? Like, who says that, right? Like, that's clearly is not the thing. And you guys are living that, though, because if you both went and gained 50 pounds, you'd be out of business.
It wouldn't look good.
Well, yeah, if they'd have met us 15 years ago, they definitely wouldn't have wanted to follow us around back then. Absolutely.
Isn't that the truth? Like, but you're living what you're preaching. And you have to, like, you literally have to. And I think that's what you do so well, though, is that people want to be like you. People want to live the lifestyle that you do. They want to experience the health and mobility and vibrance that you guys both have. Like, why would they not want to be part of that? And from a business perspective, you're a billboard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that too, because it helps keep us accountable.
Yes.
No matter where it is.
Yeah,
There you
exactly.
go.
I wrote a book called Radical Generosity. And what I keep telling people is I'm regretting it some days.
Ultimate accountability. Write the book, right?
Totally. I just published it and put my face on it, clearly. And I was like, now when I'm acting in ways that are not radically generous, I'm like, yeah, exactly. Same thing. Yeah. But yeah, that's the truth, though. Like, you're walking billboards of living the life that people want to aspire to. Mm-hmm. And I think that's true of any personal brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I really like what you said at the beginning about that. And I'm really proud of us for the fact, like you said, even walking around that room, we get to be able to stand in the middle. Like, understand the spiritual side, understand the science side, and really be a practical role model that, like, literally anybody could be able to do the things that we do. They don't have to spend $1 million a year to be able to achieve the health outcomes that we have. And that's one of the things that I love, because everything that we do, and that's what we always tease, like, one of our superpowers is we can take things that are really confusing and make them really simple. So that even we were having a conversation yesterday and somebody was like, oh, your system and everything is really complicated or confusing. And I'm like, no. Let us explain that to you. And then they're like, oh, wait a second. That is really simple.
Well, and I will say this as a testimonial to you both, because I did your program.
Absolutely.
What, 2 years ago or something now or something. And it's like, and it was funny because, I'm very conscious of the way I look. I'm very conscious of my weight, and I'm a workout every day guy, and I'm in the middle of a 75 hard right now, which is just absurd.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I just finished that earlier.
Oh, did you really?
Did
oh,
again,
yeah. I did it last year, so I've
I've done it twice.
now I've got to do it every year, kind of my mindset. And it's miserable when you're traveling.
But it is, the mindset is the beauty of it. It really is.
100%. It's the psychological discipline of it.
Yeah.
It's just the discipline of doing it that makes
the
it tough.
integrity built with yourself is insane.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. There's been a couple of things that I'm like, did I take a progress pic that day? And I'm just like, well, not like I normally did. And I was like, does that count as missing a day?
Dude, I'll call you right now on it. It counts, because anytime you compromise one thing, then you're like, maybe this isn't that big a deal. And the next thing you know it, you're cutting corners right and left.
Yeah,
so,
no,
anyway.
I woke up at like 3 a.m. in the morning and been like, I got to do the progress picture. It's like 3 a.m.
I've done that. And I'm really good about the majors, like making sure that I get at least 2 workouts in a day. Great. Following a diet plan, I'm great. But it's like, it's that stupid progress pic that gets me, because if I'm at home, I wake up and there's a giant mirror hanging nearby, and it's like, oh yeah, that's my mirror that I do that. It's like, when I'm in a hotel, like it just, I don't think about it every day. And it's like, I'm taking pictures every day because I'm in a bunch of pictures, and I'm like, well, yeah, those are pictures. And I'm like, yeah, but they're not shirtless pictures in the bathroom, right? Like it's not quite the same picture, although I'm taking pictures and like that kind of stuff. But, or sometimes if it's like an outdoor workout, like if today's workout is like, I have to do 2 indoors, I forgive myself for that. And I'm like, I'm okay with 2 indoor workouts, because to me, the point is 2 workouts. But the point of the matter is like, I've done your program, I did it a couple years ago. And I mean, literally I was like losing weight in a week, and I'm like, holy smokes. And it's like, and I'm not a big guy as much as my body dysmorphia would argue. Yeah. But the reality is, I mean, it was just like instant. And I was like, what in the world? Like, and it literally was this combination of small things. And it was, the gorge the first day, but the SET and the minerals and the salt and stuff that you're adding into the diet, but it literally is seed oil reductions, right? Like that's really what most of it boils down to, is certainly mixing up your food so that you're getting multiple different types of nutrients and not the same one over and over again, because I eat my vegetables because I have asparagus every day. But mixing that kind of stuff up, and it's like, but it's simple. And I would say that it's not revolutionary science. Hear me out on that. Like, I'm not dissing the program. I'm saying that it's almost basic stuff.
Yeah.
It is basic stuff. And I would say that the science behind why it's happening is really brilliant, which has taken about 15 years to even get to that point. Because, you're right, on the front end, there's really only 3 steps: the reawaken day, that gorge day, like you were saying, the SET oil, and then spending 5 weeks helping the body to be able to detox from all that seed oil that's inside there. And people don't realize that is a metabolism disruptor. And so it's 100% disrupting and stopping the body's metabolism from being able to work. And then that's where magic starts happening in your body, is losing the weight. But it is utilizing real food sequencing that we've literally studied on what combinations and how to put those things to be able to get together in the very right recipe. Yeah, it is real food. Proteins, right? Vegetables, fruits. There's nothing revolutionary about that. Those are all the foods that God's given us. You can go shop for them at the grocery store, but it's putting them together in the right combination that's going to be healing for that particular person's body.
Well, and one of the things I would say is that I don't mean to discount the combination and the science behind that, but it's eat healthy. Quit introducing garbage into your life. And the one thing that you guys taught me so much, because I'm in like total seed oil detox right now as well. And again, RFK has now shined the light on seed oils and everything. And you guys are like,
Yeah, we've been screaming this for...
didn't see that.
Exactly.
The one thing that I think, and I don't know if most people even think about, but it was literally your program that drew my attention to it, as crazy as this is like, sure, I can go to Ocean Prime and tell them to make sure there's no seed oil on there. But when I went and got a massage that weekend,
did
I pay attention to what was being rubbed from head to toe all over my skin? And I was like, oh, wait. And it's like, and I live in Florida, right? Like, so living in Florida, you just expect the occasional oversun exposure, because if I'm actually home, I'll go play beach volleyball or something. And I love outdoor time.
Absolutely.
Well, outdoor time comes with having to take care of your skin too. And I was disrupted looking at the backs of bottles that existed in my bathroom, because I thought, because I wouldn't use normal sunblock, that I was absolutely, I'll use Third Rock. Like if I'm out there for any period of time, like Gary Gurney stuff, like I will absolutely use Third Rock, or I'll use like Young Goose's BioShield if it's just a regular day, like, because I know, well, first I know the formulators, which is kind of gives me a bit of a leg up on the average person, but those are really good products and I'm comfortable with those. But I started turning over because I'm like, I won't use, Banana Boat sunscreen. Like, I'm not going to use this garbage. I understand that this is, nano-based, non-zinc. Like, and logically, I know I don't want that stuff absorbing into my skin because literally I understand that it's going into my skin and then immediately into my bloodstream. And what am I doing? Yeah. But then I started looking like Neutrogena body oil, like sunflower. And I'm like,
there you go.
Wait a minute. Like, and literally, I'm like Googling. I'm like, is sunflower considered a pseudo?
Very high omega 6.
Literally, I'm just like, oh my gosh. I turned over darnly every bottle in my bathroom and was like, son of like.
Exactly.
And I was like, this is insane. And I mean, I literally went out, and you'll laugh at this because I bought a bottle of oil deliberately that's avocado-based massage oil. And I'm like, anytime that I go get a massage, I'll take my own stuff. I'm like, I don't know what toxins you're rubbing on me, so we're going to use this if that's okay. And
dude, I did the exact same thing.
Isn't it funny?
I'm going to bring, I don't want anything onto my body. If I'm that diligent.
If I'm not going to eat it, don't rub it on my skin.
You can't do it. Yeah, just the awareness of that. And that's what I think everybody kind of has a seed oil consciousness now, but I don't think they fully understand this conversation, really how damaging these oils really are. And you can't just quit eating them. I mean, you should and you need to, but you have to be able to know how to get rid of them in a safe way, because you can't. A lot of people who even try to fast, one of the reasons they can't even fast is because they're dumping so much linoleic acid into their bloodstream. It's making them sick.
Yeah.
And so it's not even that it's a hormonal insulin cortisol issue. It's really more of like you're dumping in toxins, and you cannot metabolize industrial seed oil. It's not metabolized. It's an oxalate. It's a metabolite that's stored into your fatty tissue because that's where your body pushes it to protect your organs, and it will downregulate your metabolic profile. So one of the beauties, as you know, with our program is the ability to set up an environment where we can safely begin to remove seed oil, support the body with the right minerals so you're not losing any muscle. And that way your body, as it's dumping seed oil, we're eliciting a hormone or a fatty acid called mead acid. Are you familiar with mead acid? Yeah, so it's that rescue fatty acid that comes in when your body is now safely removing and dumping these out of your body so you can stabilize those tissues. But we've done all the work to lay out the program so you don't have to try to figure all this out or mess yourself up. So there are little things, but the beauty of it is we've taken the best of what we know is out there. We've looked at our stories, how we've overcome our own metabolic illness, and we've looked at real food nutrition and really holistic-based approaches. And we just put it all together in this system that looks very simple, and it is very simple, but the results are unbelievable what can happen in a very short amount of time. And we just don't know really anything out there. Not that other programs can't help you and that they don't, but to get the result that we get and the way we do it, it's pretty remarkable, especially in a world of, $100,000 equipment and machines, when maybe you should have just laid down a strong metabolic foundation first before you start stacking. I mean, we know if you build a house on a bad foundation, it's going to cost you a lot of time and a lot of money. And build it on the rock, and that metabolic foundation, we believe, is primary and sets the tone for anything and everything you do. I mean, the systems that people are using are only going to be as effective as the metabolic profile of the body, right? Because you can give red light therapy to a corpse, and the corpse is not going to benefit from the red light therapy.
Exactly.
It ain't intelligent.
Put down the supplement and also put down the Big Mac.
And put it down, right? So anyway, I don't know if I went off down this crazy road, but I think it's that important. And I think that is one of the beauties of the program we've created is we take that issue head on. You'll never really heal your metabolism if you don't have some type of sophistication on how do I really get rid of these toxins out of my body? Because they're not going anywhere just by stopping eating them. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that unless you're not going to eat seed oil for the next 5 years, which it's, potentially you run into it.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to be fragile.
No.
Right.
And so I want to, you said something, and as we're wrapping here, like I want to do one more conversation, because you used a word that also triggered me this week.
Okay.
And that, well,
in a good way or
in
bad
good
way?
ways, in good ways, in good ways. And that is the word fasting.
Okay.
Because you made a comment about fasting, and which, you can't fast because your body's filled with linoleic acid. And so I got it. You can't process all that. And 100% agreed. Yeah. And I was having a conversation recently with Ben Azadi, and we were on this whole topic of fasting. And, you guys know Ben.
He's great.
And he's awesome. Yeah. And I say he's another normal one.
And, totally.
He really
yes.
Yeah. And in this conversation with him, we got into this whole fasting thing and the fasting for 24 hours and what it really means to be in a state of ketosis, and, how your body's actually functioning and what's happening hour after hour and so on and so forth. But I want to bring this together, because part of your program is intermittent fasting, right? Like you're supposed to keep in this small window for your food intake and so on. And part of that is the ketosis process that takes place, understood, and triggering autophagy for cellular cleanup while you're resetting metabolic process. And one of the things I said to Ben, because he made a comment about 24 hours in, because the first 24 hours of fasting is usually the hardest. And then anytime that somebody fasts beyond 24 hours, they usually report that they feel great.
Yeah.
And he commented that he overfasts. He thinks that he's actually gotten criticism for fasting too much.
Yeah.
And so what's actually kind of funny to me is, because I'm like, we started off talking about this ancient wisdom come back.
Yeah.
And he'd made a comment about this idea that, one of the things that happens after the 24 hours of fasting is you end up with a mental clarity and just cognitive function beyond what you normally have, because part of it is that once you've expelled all of anything in your body that requires digestion, the bandwidth, the energy, the limited supply of energy that your body has no longer has to direct that energy at your digestive system, and it can actually start refocusing some of that energy to other areas that may need additional support, right? Kind of like the Wi-Fi at the office. Too many people are on it and people start streaming, everybody's internet slows down. But several people go home at 5 o'clock. It's amazing how much bandwidth you get later at night, because no one else is pulling on that power supply. Yeah. And I was like, well, Ben, give me an opinion on this. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about this as well, because we've talked about this ancient wisdom, and it's with everything prayer and fasting. And I was like, got it. I grew up in a Christian tradition that would say that fasting is because you give something up for God so that God will be willing to give you something in return, right? It's a sacrifice which does this. And I'm like, I want an opinion, because my thought on this now in my unlearning process is I believe prayer and fasting, and I believe the idea of a sacrificial whatever, but do I also believe that through fasting comes an incredible mental acuity that allows you to actually solve problems, process information, be able to hear from God, and all this other kind of stuff, because physiologically we have stopped the workload that our body is requiring. Does that make bringing science and spirituality together even clearer? Because to me, I was like, never thought of that before. But that's kind of amazing to put it in those terms, that literally I solve problems better when I'm in a very clear mind. Is fasting just next level clarity? And that's the benefit it brings. It also brings with it autophagy and all these other types of things. Right. But have you thought about that? Is that a thing?
Course.
Or yeah?
Oh, of course. Yeah. And I probably over abused fasting back in the day, coming out of my diagnosis and really looking at, because I was the guy eating 6 meals a day, trying to be bigger with all the insulin hits, and then getting the cancer diagnosis, and then reevaluating everything, and then eating less till now I'm really eating very, very small windows. So I probably abused it, but I've gotten a healthier relationship with it. It's like anything. It is a hormetic stress. It can be very powerful. I think a lot of people can abuse it, and if you're doing it too much, it can have the opposite effect. Yep. It can definitely raise cortisol. It can actually tear down muscle tissue.
Particularly if you're in other stressful situations.
Yeah, it's in combination with other multiple stressors. Like if you're cold plunging and getting in sauna and you're fasting, you're probably doing the triple threat there. You may not adapt to that. But we also, when fasting, we read about in the Bible, Jesus obviously did a 40-day fast, and the things that he was able to accomplish, he really showed us the way. But also at that time, you know, it wasn't 94% of people were metabolically unhealthy.
Correct.
So we're in a different age right now. Fasting can be very beneficial, and I've experienced the benefits you're talking about. I've done multiple 3-day fasts, which I do really well with. Try to do those maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, which I think are super beneficial. But you can also get autophagy benefits without having to do 24-hour fasts. You can also get a lot of the benefits of fasting with the right amount of nutrients and the right amount of minerals, because that way you can preserve muscle but still upregulate all of the metabolic hormones to get the clarity as well. So I think there's a lot of approaches to it. There's no one size fits all, but I think for a lot of people, fasting because a lot of people are already in low energy states from years of dieting and yo-yo dieting and calorie restriction and low carb and keto. To go into a fasting for them, that's brutal for them, and they're not going to get mental clarity. Us three who are metabolically healthy, who've put the work in and have had the privilege of being around incredible people that we've learned from, we can go into these fasted states and really thrive for short periods of time. That would be my thoughts on that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, because I think also the mentality for a lot of people that are doing fasting, maybe even for the first time, they're still doing it, going into it with the mentality of doing a diet. A diet being, I'm going to reduce calories, and as a result of reducing calories, I'm going to get an effect. Call it autophagy, call it losing weight, calling whatever it is that you want to call it, but it's still for the same purpose, to reduce your calories.
Yeah.
And so then people can become addicted to that. So now I'm just going to go. So now you got the OMAs, or people only eating one meal a day, people for that same exact
Well, I agree with you. I think most people fast because they think they're getting the benefit of reduced calories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, which is not the point of it at all.
No, not at all. You're actually going to downregulate your metabolic profile, especially over extended periods of time, which a lot of people do.
Well, and I actually know people who are like, oh, I intermittent fast every day. And I'm like, not the plan. And they're like, oh, I do it every day. I'm like, yes, the problem is if you intermittent fast every day, it's not fasting anymore. Now it's just a program.
Now you're in a stress. You're basically in a famine. Your body is shutting down, raising cortisol to store everything you eat as body fat.
Correct.
Not good.
Which is exactly the conversation I'm like, that's a bad one. You want to fast? You want to intermittent fast 3-4 days a week?
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Not 7 days a week. Like you're causing yourself damage when you get to that.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty, even with, you were talking about our program and the technology, is that now you are doing it. And as I'm thinking about it, it's like we're teaching people how to live a happier, healthier lifestyle, not just through the program really, but for the rest of their life, because now they've got some structure. Not only do they have structure, but who doesn't like to do things with a community of people that are all on the same track for the same purpose, the same intention? They're to be able to help each other when that person is like, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten, for the last 8 hours. That same person is like, I got to eat, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. That person, like, if I don't have that, I am going to be hangry. Yeah. And you have those people that are there going, oh, don't worry about it. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So
You said something there that I love, and I kind of want to wrap on that point, and that is what you guys do. The happy and healthy are two very different things, but at the same time very harmonious. And that is, that our week here at the Asbury Convention started with the Lifelong Wellbeing Foundation dinner, which really talks about the 8 dimensions of well-being, that it's not just about the physical, it's not just about nutrition or environment, which all gets talked about here, but it is social health, and it is educational and financial, and all of these things that we're talking about. All of these dimensions, which all feed in. And the truth of the matter is a person who is happier becomes healthier, and a person who's healthier becomes happier. And the more we can solve and increase any of these areas, there's a ripple effect that goes to the next area, and these concentric circles continue to expand. That if I am living happy because I feel good about myself, and maybe it is a mental clarity that comes with better nutrition. I'm making better financial decisions at that point. Yeah. And maybe I do feel better about myself, so I don't avoid social situations. Think of how many people and I'm sure you guys come across this all the time dealing with weight loss, like people who just avoid going to the beach or avoid going to the water park. And it's like your friends are going, no, I'm busy. Well, it has nothing to do with the fact that you don't want to hang out socially. It's the fact that you don't want to take your shirt off at the water park. Yeah. And, so you just avoid social situations because you feel unworthy, or you just don't feel like you look good enough. Like all of these problems are interconnected.
Yeah.
Like all of this stuff. And it's the negative thinking. It's the spiritual hygiene that needs to take place with people who are out of balance in that area. And it really boils down to, how do we keep all of these things balanced? And again, I would say a person who feels good about themselves approaches life differently and quits speaking these I am statements that are negative over themselves, quits expecting defeat, quits looking at themselves with the dysmorphia that doesn't make sense, but they don't have the mental acuity to even be able to process that, if you will. It's so interconnected. And, we started by me saying, like, there's people up here, there's people down here, and you guys are somewhere in the middle. And the reality is I'm saying that because you guys are balanced. That there is a happiness, there is a healthiness, there is a balance in all of these areas of well-being, that it's not because, I meet you guys and I'm just like, oh my gosh, these people have the best HRV scores of anyone I know, right? Like it's not because your livers are perfect. But it's literally, there's a balance and there's a harmony in all of these areas. And I think it's evident in the way you show up in the world. And I appreciate that, and I respect that out of both of you. And I think that is the goal for everybody who attends a biohacking conference, anybody who shows up here. It's not to be at level 10 in your spiritual life and a level 1. We laugh about the Baptist potlucks, right? Like, well, congratulations, y'all made it to the prayer meeting and ate fried chicken for 3 hours.
Exactly. You're going to be back on the prayer list next week.
Exactly. Now you are the prayer request.
Exactly.
Or the people that are so busy biohacking that you've managed to optimize your health and your wife left you. Like congratulations, you spent all this time and you completely locked out the relationships in your life. Like there's a balance that needs to happen in here, and I kind of love that this entire week is ending on that note, because like I've just had conversations for days here on so many different topics. And it's like, it kind of feels like a nice bow got put on all of that. So thank you both. Thanks for just rolling to the punches here.
That was great.
But I love that. Just harmony. It's about balance. It's about bringing a harmony to all of these systems, including bringing harmony to your health so that your body knows how to function on its own and doing that kind of stuff. And I love that. Like, thank you guys. Like, I just appreciate the way you show up in the world. This is Rob Vasquez and Randy Johns with the Happy Healthy Guys. We're going to put everything down in the show notes here to make sure that people know how to follow you both on social media. Check out their business, the Happy Healthy Guys. What are you guys? H2G? Am I getting that right?
Well, the H2 Life on Instagram.
H2 Life. They've got a bunch of different websites out there. So the
Happy Healthy Life is our main website.
The Happy Healthy Life.
Instagram is the H2 Life.
We'll get it all in the notes. We'll get it in the notes. Because I mean, you definitely just want to know these guys. Like they literally bring health and happiness into the world. So you're very well named. Great branding. I love that. Guys, check it all out. And if you are looking at trying to figure out some metabolic changes in your life and figuring out ways that these seed oils, even that conversation we had about like the lotions and the oils that we use, like if you wouldn't drink it, quit putting it on your skin. That was a lesson that took me a minute, and I was like, man, I did something else I don't know, right? Which is that unlearning process, but also that you're never going to figure it all out, but we're all on this journey together. So if you can learn from somebody else, albeit these guys, do it. And we look forward to seeing you next time on Performance Driven Living.